Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you guys have been having a great Saturday and a great weekend so far. In this video, we're going to break down something different, something we hadn't talked about here in a few weeks, and that is winter weather. There is a nor'easter that could affect most of the eastern U.S., a cold rain for the southeast areas in the mid-Atlantic, and then some interior snowfall. And in fact, areas maybe even outside of the higher terrain of the eastern U.S. could see some snow. And this looks to be a pretty significant system, even outside the areas that see the snowstorm part of this system. This could be like any other nor'easter and have some high winds with it. So that's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to break down in this video. We're going to try to figure out what's going to happen with this. This is kind of honestly a little snuck up on me a little bit. And after I had a couple hours, not a couple hours, but I had about an hour or so to really look over some models, to really take a look at what's going on going forward, and all of a sudden, hey, 90 hours out, looks like there's a big time system showing up. So that's what we're going to talk about, and that's what we're going to break down. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If you ever consider joining the channel, the join tab is right there, and it's a great way to support what I do. I have a big goal to hit 20 members to my channel, and I have 17 right now last time I checked. So it's just a way to support what I do monthly, and it really goes a long way, especially in these slow periods when I can remain consistent with my videos, but they obviously don't get as much views because certain times of the year things just aren't happening. It's just slow weather. So I appreciate that support. But if you guys got anything I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it. It gives others an opportunity to do so too. We all look out for one another and glorify God doing it. So let's get going here. And what we're going to do is just like we've always done, talking winter weather. And for people who's been watching for a while, they know what I do. When we break down a potential winter storm, we break down the GFS normally, the European, then we look at what the snowfall is showing for each one, and we'll just talk about some things here and what could potentially happen. So we'll take a look at the GFS. The latest GFS just came out, still running actually. We're getting into Sunday afternoon, probably overnight, Sunday into Monday morning, we have rain overspreading much of the deep south and the southeast. This is going to be a chilly rain for the Carolinas too. You're going to be waking up. I really think a lot of Monday will just be a nasty weather day. It's going to be cool. Certain areas won't get out the 40s or 50s. South Carolina is a big dividing state. Some folks might not get out the 50s in South Carolina and areas like that. And then certain areas might not get out the 40s, maybe the 60s. That's going to be a tough state to figure out, South Carolina. But North Carolina points north. A cold rain expected for at least Monday morning. But this continues up the eastern seaboard, and then this low pressure gets off the Carolinas, begins to develop. Already snow breaking out. Heck, even for your Monday morning, there's snow falling in Ohio, central and north central areas of Ohio, into northeastern Ohio and eastern Ohio. I mean, look at Cleveland. You got snow falling Monday morning. Now, you're in late April at this point, mid to late April. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to accumulate, for one, and for two, even after the snow's done, it's not going to stay on the ground long. But this could be maybe a quick hitting snow event that could be intense at certain points. But we got to see what's going to happen here. We keep this rolling. Look at Pittsburgh. Look at central Pennsylvania as we're getting into our Monday afternoon. This is in the middle of the day Monday, and it's snowing on the middle of the day on April 18th. I mean, that's pretty impressive even for this time, even for these areas. For this time of the year, it really is. But it's snowing in the probably the higher elevations of West Virginia and Virginia, and even, I mean, look at the far western areas of Maryland. Snow falling. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, obviously probably just rain. You're definitely not cold enough for snow, but you keep this rolling here, and this low pressure starts to intensify. And then you get to around the wee hours of the morning, Tuesday morning. I'm talking about, I'm stopping this here at about 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern time here. And look at this heavy interior snow. Now hold up for me because I'm about to show you the Euro, which is even more impressive. But look at this. You're getting into Tuesday morning, and it is unloading snow. In Vermont, New Hampshire, interior areas of New York, I mean, it's even getting very close to New York City with wraparound cold air back on the backside of this low pressure. But this is a big-time late-season snowstorm for almost the entire state of Maine if the GFS was to happen. And you keep this rolling here, and a lot of backside moisture funnels in Tuesday afternoon, and you still got rain and snow falling, right? So let's go on and look at the European, which is even more impressive. And then we'll get a closer up look at each one of these models, specifically for the Northeast. But same situation, Monday morning, cold, chilly rain falling for the Carolinas and probably, a decently chilly rain for Georgia. You keep this rolling here, and I mean, we'll stop this at about midday to about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon for your Monday. And look at it snowing. Per the latest European, not always correct. And, it's hard to figure out exactly what this is going to do because the National Weather Service is really keeping the heaviest snowfall just confined to the highest elevations. But the European and GFS show the same exact thing, and that is an area of snow in the northern half, in the central and northern half of Ohio, Cleveland, maybe even a burst of snow in Detroit. It's really, this is impressive. Even, for this time of the year, it is impressive, even for these areas. It really is. But you got heavy, moderate to heavy snow, wet snow too. This is heavy, wet snow. A lot of trees are beginning to bloom even in this area, probably not fully leafed out, but they're starting to leaf out. And I mean, this is a heavy burst of snow. I wouldn't even call it a burst because this is several hours of heavy, wet snow in Pittsburgh. And then, this is going to be kind of an evaporative cooling kind of situation where, we might start off as rain, but as heavier precipitation falls, it cools down the atmosphere aloft in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and it turns maybe heavy, moderate to heavy rain to heavy snow. But this is crazy. This low pressure begins to intensify. The winds probably begin to pick up in the Delaware area, probably New Jersey is probably going to be very breezy. And then look at this for Monday evening. It is unloading snow in areas of the hills of Pennsylvania. I mean, even Scranton, Pennsylvania, for example, the interior, almost all the interior areas of New York State, seeing heavy snow. This is even getting close to New York City. I think y'all will stay all rain, but it will be a wind-driven rain. And we're getting into the middle of the night, Monday night into Tuesday morning. And I mean, the European wants to bring heavy snow into southern New England. Not really the coastal regions necessarily, but New England in general, western Massachusetts, Connecticut areas, even Rhode Island, heavy, wet snow. I mean, intense snow too. Once we start to get later overnight, we're starting to get to the wee hours in the morning, Tuesday morning, and this low pressure begins to get sub 1,000 millibars here. And the winds pick up, and this would be a heavy, wind-driven, wet snow for New Hampshire, Vermont, most of Massachusetts, maybe staying all the rain, a wind-driven, cold rain for Boston, and the Cape definitely stays all rain. But this would be a late-season, heavy snowfall if the Euro was to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. This will probably be the topic over the next couple of days. It really will. Trying to figure out because these can trend much more snowier. They could. This is going to be a tricky situation. It really is. This is heavy snow. I mean, very heavy snow showing up. And you continue this, getting to Tuesday morning, the low pressure on the Euro just plows us into southern New England. Heavy winds, coastal flooding probably, and some erosion, coastal erosion probably. And then just a nasty snowstorm for New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, interior areas of New York State, and all throughout the Monday morning. And this continues. And then you get wraparound moisture that might add to these snowfall totals as cold air really kind of moves through with this cold front that really only influences the northern mid-Atlantic and the northeast. But this is crazy to see. It really is. And you get a little bit closer look at the European as far as the northeast in general. Strong storm coming. I mean, look at this. Heavy snow just about an hour or two north of New York City. Heavy wet snow based off the European. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. What we do know is this is going to be a heavy snowfall for the, elevation, for the, microclimate areas that are like 1,000 to 2,000 feet up in the air or a little bit higher. So I really think this is going to be elevation really driven in this setup. You go a few hundred feet in elevation, it's a cold rain, but you maybe go 500 to 1,000 foot more in elevation, it's a heavy wet snow in the mid-30s. So it's going to be a tricky situation just depending on your elevation. I know Massachusetts, for example, is a big example of that. I hear stories a lot of times where, the hills are getting more snow in that state, and then maybe in the lower elevations are staying all rain. And I really think this is going to be a situation like this. I really do. But it's going to be interesting to see, does maybe Boston go from rain to a quick burst of heavy snow, depending on how heavy the precipitation rates are? It's going to be interesting. I know I've said that about 100 times in this video, but this could be really an intense snow for your Monday into Tuesday morning. Maine, I really think, is going to get hit hard. New Hampshire and Vermont, the whole entire state probably potentially gets hit with several inches of snow. So, we're going to see what happens with this setup. And, we're going and look at the wind speeds, and I'm about to show the snowfall accumulations based off what this is showing. And to keep this rolling here, and as this nor'eastern begins to develop here, it gets off the coast right in here. You see these wind speeds picking up, and you see in general where the low pressure is, and this is potential wind gusts, miles per hour and wind gusts here showing up. You got 20, 30 mile per hour wind gusts showing up already in the coastal areas of Delaware, New Jersey, and then as you're getting into Monday evening, into overnight Monday into Tuesday, the winds begin to really howl on Long Island, southern New England. Even if it's snow or not, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. The wind, it's going to either be a wind-driven snow or wind-driven heavy, wet snow. So this is going to have the chance to really impact the Northeast in general, particularly the southern New England. Really, really will. Just like any other nor'eastern does. Y'all are accustomed to this, but watch out Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, the eastern half, basically all of Massachusetts, and then even the coastal regions of Maine, as this will probably and likely not really scoot off into the ocean. It'll probably plow into the Northeast. So all this strong winds are going to plow right into the Northeast. So it's not going to just kind of scrape the coast. The low pressure is going to go in to the coast and actually move inland. So this is also going to kick up a big time northeast flow, not necessarily snow, but just some strong winds in the mountains and the elevation areas of Virginia, West Virginia, and North Carolina and Tennessee. So there's going to be some strong winds Tuesday morning and all throughout Tuesday in general. This is going to be an intense storm. It really is. I think it'll be a bigger topic starting tomorrow. I really do. But as far as snowfall, you see this as a whole. I mean, this is the Euro. I mean, look how much snow's showing up in Ohio. This is a 10-to-1 ratio. The snow will not be falling at a 10-to-1 ratio. It'll be a much lower ratio, meaning you're probably going to have more of a 7-to-1 ratio. That means 7 inches of snow to 1 inch of liquid equivalent. So it's going to be heavy and wet. So it's not like you're going to have these awesome snowfall totals, but I'm showing you this broader look because it shows snow all the way in Ohio. Even a little bit of snow showing up for Chicago and the Ohio Valley of Indiana and Illinois. And then look at the snow. A little bit of ice showing up also for the higher elevations of Maryland, West Virginia, and Virginia. So if we get a little bit of closer look here off the Euro, let's go on to look at the Northeast. You see this. I mean, look at this heavier snow, even in Mass and Connecticut, even a little snow showing up in Rhode Island from the Euro. That doesn't mean this is going to happen. But what I'm really impressed with is the snow in PA, in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, and Ohio. This is crazy. I mean, and you got over a foot snowfall total showing up in the higher elevations of all the interior Northeast. So, this happens. It's not super rare. It would be much more rare, I think, if it was actually happening like in the bigger cities, New York City and Boston. I think that would be much more of a big deal. But we're getting into mid to late April, and this is going to be a pretty intense storm. I mean, and we're right on the heels of it. We're under 90 hours of this happening. We're well under 90 hours. So you look at the GFS, same kind of deal. Shows snow all the way back into Ohio. Shows a little snow into Chicago. So we're about to get probably in the short range models here in the next 24 to 36 hours. So we're going to know what's going to happen. But the Great Lakes region sees a little bit of snow as one piece of energy merges with this piece of energy like we always see with the nor'eastern. So, and then they combine, bomb off, and then we have the intense precipitation rates here in areas of the Northeast. And we'll get a little bit closer look at the GFS, and it really, really hits. Watch out Albany, New York. Watch out Pittsburgh. A few inches of snow, which is pretty uncommon for mid-April. It really is. And then consistently showing snow in western areas of Maryland, and then the mountainous areas of West Virginia and Virginia, especially the northern areas of the mountainous areas of Virginia for sure. And then over a foot to 2 feet of snow just off the GFS. That does not mean it's going to happen. Showing up in areas of interior New York State, and even, well over a foot snowfall total showing up in Vermont and New Hampshire. And it shows the entire state of Maine seeing snow. The GFS doesn't have quite as much snow east as the Euro does, but we're going to see what's going to happen. This is the national blend of models. Now you look at this and you're like, wow, this looks much different. Doesn't hardly show any snow in Ohio, but it's the blend of bottles. It's blending them all together. It's probably the right thing to show, honestly. But it confines all the heaviest snow to. It does a great job of showing it in all the highest elevations of New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, and even Maine. It doesn't show any snow, much snow at all. And in the 3 states of Mass, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. And it does show a dusting of snow in Pittsburgh and some snow in the higher elevations of PA, and then a little bit of snow in western areas in the western counties of Maryland and West Virginia. A little bit of snow in Virginia, but you notice the massive difference here, right? And so we're going to see who wins here. The National Weather Service is leaning towards this also. They're not going to be aggressive and show all these insane snowfall totals yet. But I really think if it consistently keeps showing it, then you're going to see the National Weather Service probably increase their snowfall totals here in the coming, for sure, in the coming updates here. But as far as temperatures, guys, it's going to be a raw day, I really think. We're getting into Sunday. I think Sunday is going to, and I'll give you an update on tomorrow's. I know I keep telling you guys I'm going to give you a weekend forecast, and I never really got around to doing it. There's just consistently been topics to talk about now. When I was talking probably Friday morning, it looked like things were kind of slowing down, but I mean, it already is. I'm already starting to eyeball kind of a severe weather threat maybe late next week, and so it looks like things are consistently staying busy, even though I was kind of expecting April to be kind of a slow month outside of severe weather. But consistently things to talk about somewhat to a degree. But hey, this is tomorrow. Temperatures are trending warmer, I think, for Easter. Nice day in the Carolinas ahead of this next system before rain moves in tomorrow night. You look at the peninsula of Florida, 80s and 90s, a warm day in Florida. Chilly day in the Northeast. Cold front moves through and cools y'all off and basically sets the stage for that big-time system for early this coming work week. And then we get into Monday morning, that cold front sags south. And then Monday morning will be probably a raw, rainy day in parts of the Carolinas and then Virginia and the Northeast. But, where this low pressure is kind of north of this boundary here, you're probably going to stay pretty mild here in areas of Georgia and Alabama. But as you're getting into your Monday for high temperatures, it's actually trended a little bit warmer in South Carolina, but some models are keeping South Carolina in the 40s and 50s. But, you go west of the Carolinas and the deep south, 60s and 70s for highs. But, I mean, look at this precipitation-driven cool air right here where you got heavy snow in the low to mid-30s in this region, and then this moves into the Northeast. I mean, it's not like you're going to have snowfall in the 20s. Even in the higher elevations, you're going to have snowfall only in the 30s. So it's going to be an interesting storm to figure out. I think if the models continue to be aggressive, you're going to hear about this a lot more. So we'll continue to break this down because this can impact a lot of people, even people outside of seeing the snow. So nor'easters are always very impactful. So God bless everybody. I'll give y'all an update tomorrow. Y'all have a safe night, and I'll talk to you in the morning.